Hi, it's Awesomeness Grade 24 here, and I'm going to talk to you about what my predictions of the finalists up in the NHL playoffs. So here I go. This is gonna be one of my longer videos than before, but not too long. It probably takes around 20 minutes, or 10 minutes, or 5, or 2. I just want to start off by saying Minnesota and Toronto will be the Toronto slushy storm on April 22nd, which they're on the road in Florida, so they don't have to worry about postponing the game then. And neither does Minnesota, as they will be in Montreal on Easter Monday. Actually, on Easter Tuesday. I'm just going to call it Easter Tuesday, the day after Tuesday, because there's going to be a big snowstorm in Minnesota on the Monday, Easter Monday, but they don't play there. They don't play there that day. As they're in Montreal the following Tuesday. So, here I go. As that's all I want to get in with the facts about the snow and stuff like that. If there's going to be any more postponed games due to weather or stuff like that. If it is, it's going to be Toronto, Minnesota, one of those teams, but I don't think it will be. Or even Buffalo, or the New York teams, especially. Okay, so here's my percentages of the cup. So number one, I'm gonna turn over my board, so you can not turn over my board, so you can actually see what I think. So number one, with a 9% chance, 90% chance, it's Carolina and Colorado finishing with as this is the Stanley Cup winner, and then that's the finals. My second prediction is Florida against Nashville, with Florida winning the cup. 88% chance of that happening against Nashville. And then you got Colorado at 85% against Florida. And it's my third. And then 82%, so 90%, it's 90% against Colorado is my first. Carolina against Colorado is my first. Then in second, who I think is gonna win the cup. Then my second, it was an 88% chance it'll be against Nashville, and Florida will take it. Third is Colorado against Florida, and that's 85%. My 82% is Nashville against Carolina. That's the 82%. Also 82%. Fifth is Toronto against Vegas. That's also with Toronto winning the cup. Sixth is 80%. It's Washington against Dallas. And that's my sixth prediction. Seven, it's 80% also, and it's against Carolina with an 80% chance of that. And then you got 8 is Pittsburgh, as Pittsburgh with a 75% chance against Colorado winning the cup. 9 is Toronto again, 65% against Nashville in 9th. And you got Tampa against Calgary, that's a 40% chance of that happening. And then you got Edmonton, which is a 30% chance against Tampa. And then you got 25% of Pittsburgh, 25% of winning against Minnesota. And then 13 is St. Louis at 25% against New York Rangers. And then I have Nashville in 14th. Oh wait, that's the error. I just realized I just put Nashville and Carolina. Sorry, that's Nashville and Toronto. I just put Carolina by mistake. So I'm gonna change that for you. So I did change it. It's against Colorado. Oh, Nashville against Colorado. I did change it. Sorry, there was some food on my phone. I just had to get it. um, and so that's my thing with Nashville against Toronto, which is a 4.5%. 44. Yeah, it's not. Sorry, that's wrong. That's actually 14.5% of that happening. .5% of that happening, and you got Colorado against Pittsburgh. That happening is Colorado against Pittsburgh with Colorado winning. It would be a 2.5% chance of that happening. And then Los Angeles at 0.5% of that happening against Toronto. And then you got all the teams. I put 19 because honorary mentions, I'm just going to go from 20 to 1 because that's what I do. So with number 20 with 0% chance of making the playoffs are San Jose, Islanders, Blue Jackets, and starting with 19, that's 20 is starting with 20 and making the playoffs. Then 20 winning a playoff round or getting into the playoffs, I say. If Winnipeg gets into the playoffs, they have a 20% chance of getting into the playoffs and winning the cup. If Boston gets into the playoffs, they have a 20% chance of winning the cup. If Dallas gets into the playoffs, they have a 25% chance of winning the cup. If Vancouver gets into the Stanley Cup playoff, they have a 30% chance of winning the cup. If Vegas gets into the playoffs, they have a 50% chance of winning in the cup or going to finalists. This is playoffs or getting into the finalists. In the cup or the finalists. Actually, it's just to get into the finals, basically, and or to win the cups. It's both and to get in the playoffs. If LA has it gets in the playoffs, they have a 0.0 chance of winning the cup or getting to the finalists. And if Calgary is 0.0 and 13th of getting into the playoffs, so they probably will have winning the cup. Depends on who they're playing. They are 60.0. And then with 12, it's the top 12 now getting the playoffs and winning the cup or getting to the finalists and coming in second. 60.2 chance of that in 12. Edmonton is 60.4. If it's New York Rangers in 10, it's a 60.5% Then Washington is 61.2%, with Pittsburgh getting into the Cup and winning it 62.2. Then you have 7 Minnesota 62.8. And St. Louis is the same and 62.8%. Then you get to the top 5, which is 64% that Florida gets into the finalists and wins the Cup. Toronto for 64% chance of getting into the playoffs and winning the Cup. Then Nashville just a little bit more than Toronto with a 65% chance. And then with a 79.5% chance of winning the Cup is Colorado, and in number 1 with it in the high Vols, they're not playing that good right now, is Carolina. But if they get into the playoffs, they have an 80% chance at winning the Cup. Remember 2006 after 2004 when Tampa won it in 2004, the lockdown, and now Carolina. And now after COVID, Carolina's like, oh, it's just time for us to win the Cup. Okay, let's go. So now this is the teams to avoid in the playoffs. So if Tampa gets in the playoffs, avoid Toronto, Florida, and Boston. I don't think they have a good record against them too. Those 3 teams. If Colorado, avoid Carolina and Calgary. And you know why I said Calgary. Remember how they beat them? And then you got Carolina, avoid Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. If Vancouver and Winnipeg gets into the playoffs, blah, 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 which is a 20 and 30% chance. I'm just giving Vancouver a little bit of edge over than Winnipeg. Vegas is 4. Avoid Tampa, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Edmonton, Dallas, and Vancouver if they get into the playoffs. If 5th, Florida has to avoid Toronto, Carolina, Colorado, Dallas, and Vegas. Washington is basically avoid Vegas if they make it. Playoff Pittsburgh, Carolina, and Tampa. Pittsburgh is avoid Toronto and Vegas, Colorado, and Edmonton. 8 is Boston, avoid Toronto, Florida, Carolina, and Washington. And 9 is Toronto to win to get in the playoffs, to win the Cup, avoid Colorado, Edmonton, Carolina, and Florida. And then 10th is New York Rangers. Avoid Washington, Edmonton, Pittsburgh, and Carolina. And Dallas, sorry. I thought I wrote down Washington twice, but it was Washington, Dallas, Pittsburgh, and Carolina. In 11, it's to avoid Minnesota, to avoid Nashville, New York Rangers, yeah, Dallas. Avoid Nashville, St. Louis, Calgary, and Colorado. Then in 12 is St. Louis, avoid Calgary, Colorado, Edmonton, Toronto, Carolina, and Calgary, Colorado, Edmonton, Carolina, and Toronto, Edmonton, avoid Toronto, Colorado, Carolina, Winnipeg, Vancouver, and Dallas. LA, avoid Nashville, Toronto, Boston, Dallas, and Nashville, avoid Toronto, Colorado, Carolina, Tampa, Florida, Vegas, and I made a mistake on the Minnesota. No, not Minnesota, New York Rangers, and they are to avoid, I'm just going to say, avoid Dallas, Washington, Nashville, Pittsburgh, and Carolina, and probably Florida too. Why not, right? You never know those 2 teams. And I'm just gonna also mention, trying to also be very careful in your Rangers as well. Okay, that's it for today. This is my longest video. I did a 20-minute video. So Awesome is Great 24 is out. Bye bye.